there is a method so quiet, so invisible, that most people walk right past it their entire lives. It does not ask for motivation. It does not require discipline. It does not care how you feel in the morning, and yet, the men who discovered it centuries ago in the mountains of Japan became so different from everyone around them that ordinary people stopped recognizing them as human. They called it Kaizen. And today, you will understand why it is the most dangerous idea you have ever encountered. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus was 29, smart, ambitious, the kind of man who could see exactly where he wanted to go, and exactly why he kept failing to get there. Every January, Marcus declared war on himself. New diet, new gym routine, new morning ritual, new goals written in a new notebook. And every February, silence. The notebook still open on the desk, the gym bag still by the door, untouched. Marcus told himself the problem was willpower. He needed more of it. So he pushed harder, bigger goals, stricter rules, more pressure. And every time, the same result, not failure, collapse. He didn't know it yet, but Marcus was making the oldest mistake in human history. He was trying to change himself using the exact same brain that created the problem. He was fighting with the wrong weapon. In 1945, the ruins of post-war Japan looked like the end of everything. The factories destroyed, the economy shattered, the national spirit broken. American engineers came to rebuild, but when they studied how traditional Japanese craftsmen worked, they saw something that stopped them cold. These men did not work in explosions of effort. They did not sprint and rest. They did not reinvent themselves every Monday. They worked by a principle so simple, it sounded almost like a joke. Kai, change. Zen, good. Kaizen, continuous small improvement.
The Zen masters had known this for 800 years. They called it Shoshin, beginner's mind. The student who tries to lift the heaviest stone on day one breaks his back. The student who lifts a slightly heavier stone every morning, in 1 year, lifts what the first student could never imagine. But here is what no one tells you about Kaizen. The small steps are not the goal. The small steps are the disguise. Marcus heard about Kaizen. His reaction was immediate. This sounds like advice for weak people. He wanted transformation, real change, the kind you feel in your chest, not 1%. He wanted 100%. The human brain has two operating systems: the prefrontal cortex, rational, long-term, and the amygdala, ancient, emotional, monitoring one thing only. Am I safe? Is this a threat? When you decide to change everything at once, your amygdala reads this as an emergency. It fights back, not with laziness, with biology. Here is what Marcus did next. He stopped asking, what is the biggest change I can make? And started asking, what is the smallest change I cannot fail to make? Not run 5 miles, but put on running shoes, step outside. Not meditate for an hour, but sit still for 2 minutes. Not read 50 books, but open a book, read 1 page. His friends laughed. 1 page? That's your plan? Excellent. Because here is what happens when you do something so small it cannot be refused. The amygdala does not activate. There is no threat, no alarm. The action happens, calmly, quietly, without war. And then the basal ganglia, the habit center of your brain, records the sequence: shoes, street, walk. By day 14, Marcus was running, not because he forced himself, because the sequence had already begun before he was fully awake. The 1% formula does not build habits. It builds neural architecture. There is a story told in Zen monasteries. A student came to the master. I have practiced for 3 years. I see no progress. Nothing has changed. The master took him to a stone wall, an iron hook slowly rusting. How long has this hook been rusting? Years, decades. Did you see it rust? No, but it changed. This is the most dangerous lie you tell yourself. Nothing is happening, and you quit. At exactly the moment the change was about to become visible. Toyota engineers discovered this when they implemented Kaizen on their assembly lines in the 1950s. They did not track daily results, they tracked direction. Are we moving toward the goal, even by 1 millimeter? If yes, continue. Do not stop to measure, do not celebrate, do not question. Just continue. Marcus kept a journal with one rule. He was not allowed to write whether he felt progress. He was only allowed to write, did I do it today? Yes or no? Nothing else. By day 30, the page was full of yes. This is where Kaizen becomes something the self-help books don't prepare you for. Small actions repeated without gaps do not just build skills, they build a story. And the story becomes the person. The ancient Japanese concept of do, the way, describes this perfectly. There is no kendo master who does swordsmanship. There is only the man who is a swordsman. The practice does not belong to him. He belongs to the practice. When Marcus reached day 60, a colleague invited him to skip his morning routine. Marcus realized he did not want to go. The person who skipped, that person no longer existed. Here is the mathematics that destroyed Marcus's old life. 1% improvement every day for 1 year. Day 1, 1.0. 0 day 30, 1.3. 5 day 90, 2.4. 5 day 180, 6.0. 0 day 365, 37.78. You do not become twice as good. You become 37 times who you were. But the inverse is also true. A 1% decline every day, by year's end, you retain 3% of yourself. The difference between the man who improves by 1% and the man who declines is not effort, it is direction. Here is the exact system, the system you will use. Step 1, minimum viable action. Find the version so small it cannot be refused. 10 push-ups. 1 page, 2 minutes of silence. Step 2, fixed time. Attach the action to a moment that already exists. After coffee, upon waking, not when I have time. Time does not appear, it is assigned. Step 3, the one-word journal. Every night write yes or no. No commentary, no excuses, just the record. Step 4, the 1%. Expansion, every 7 days increase by 1%. So small the brain does not notice, but the basal ganglia records everything. Step 5, never break the chain. This is the Zen principle of Jyoji applied to Kaizen. Not perfection, continuity. If you are sick, 1 push-up, 1 breath, 1 sentence. The chain does not break because in the gap, the old self comes back, and it comes back fast. People started to notice. Friends said Marcus had changed. Someone said that kind of discipline isn't healthy. That's when he understood. If people around you say you are too strict, you are finally on the right path. Ordinary people get ordinary results. The men who built the great traditions of Japan, the Zen monks, the samurai, the master craftsmen, they did not know about neuroscience, but they knew something neuroscience is only now beginning to prove. The river does not carve the canyon in a day, but the river never stops. You do not need more motivation. You do not need a better plan. You need to move by 1% today. The Japanese have a word for a craftsman who devoted his entire life to perfecting a single skill, takumi. It does not mean gifted. It does not mean disciplined. It means the one who never stopped. Are you ready? The bell does not wait for you to feel ready. It simply rings.